Make time to find out. It doesn't take, it's all over the internet. You can Google all kinds of information about where North Carolina ranks on all those things. All the stats that we've referred to are there for reading. Then secondly, get to a public school. Go to the school, ask for a 30-minute appointment with the principal, then ask, I'd like to shadow you for half a day, or put me in a classroom for a half a day. Let me see what goes on here. Let me see what it's like to teach 23 first graders that are overloaded in the classroom with no teacher assistant, 3 kids who don't speak English very well, and 2 special ed kids who need help where there are no special ed teachers in the school. And how a principal's bigger concern is, well, I got 2 classrooms with no teacher at all today. How am I going to handle that? And so those are the problems our public schools are having. And when fewer and fewer people are going in to become teachers, and when a shortage develops, our legislative answer that's being proposed right now is, well, instead of having it being required that 100% of teachers in public schools be licensed, let's just make it 50%. Now, that is not a solution to a problem. So having a qualified teacher and a qualified principal that's supportive of teachers in every school, that's the most important thing, no matter what school it is.
One of the things that we do is that we lobby. We lobby, depending on what it is that we need from state government all the time. Maybe we need to think about how do we lobby on behalf of education. And so I think there are partnerships that could be formed, but the lobby that we do on a routine basis also needs to include education.
Yeah. But Willie, you were mentioning something a few minutes ago that rings true to me. You were talking about the lack of urgency and the lack of an immediate need. And I oftentimes think about education is a bit like the bridges. It's a bit like other infrastructure, if you will. We build a bridge and none of us ever think about the bridge needs any support or repairs. But if we don't do any work on the bridge, one day the bridge collapses and we're all like, how did that happen? And I think education's a bit like that. It appears, I ride by this road, there's a school, there's kids, there's buses, everything must be doing fine. It's only when, it's too late do we realize the bridge collapses or we realize the education system is suffering.
I actually think Tom already said it. Go into a school. Have a personal experience, because I promise you, if you have a personal experience, the motivation to fund, the motivation to lead, the motivation to support leaders will be unquestionable to you and to everyone else around you. So I think it all starts with being experientially connected. And I'd say, get your butts in schools.
I really think if every business leader in North Carolina spent one day or even part of a day at a public school, that might affect as much change as anything I can think of. Because I do think, and Tom's already mentioned this in addition, there is a tremendous lack of education. One of the statistics that I have spoken to a lot to business leaders about that seems to grab everyone's attention is that if you take the amount of money we spend on public K through 12 education, not community colleges or UNC system, if you take that amount of money divided by the gross domestic product in North Carolina, we're 49th in the country. Now, we can agree or disagree about how the money's spent or anything else, but this state shouldn't be 49th in anything. And as Willie pointed out, when you're top in business, at a minimum, we ought to be average. But we behave when it comes to spending our money on public education from K through 12, we behave as though we're a very, very poor state. And I'm old enough, and maybe Willie's old enough, having grown up near Charlotte, we remember when this was a very, very poor state, but we're not poor any longer. And there's lots of places in this state that the business community has helped us become a very strong state. That business community also helped us on the education front.